Leslie Sabraco. For the past 17 years, I've been the host of an Emmy Award-winning restaurant show and a national travel and food show, both on PBS. Over the years, I've indulged in my fair share of delicious dairy-centric dishes, and I'm excited for today's treats. Welcome to the cook-off finals of the inaugural 2022 CalMex Invitational, brought to you by the California Milk Advisory Board on behalf of California's dairy farm families. Now, we're at the Culinary Institute of America's Copia facility in Napa, California. It's the ideal location to show off the latest innovations in dishes combining the best of California and Mexican cuisines. One of the growing culinary trends in recent years centers on crafting innovative dishes by marrying global foods and ingredients. CalMex is the perfect expression of California ingredients and Mexican flavors and traditions. As the #1 dairy state, California's bounty of dairy products plays a huge role in the back of the house. Today, our 6 chefs will showcase California's Hispanic-style cheese and dairy products as they prepare original, innovative CalMex dishes to compete in this inaugural competition. First, a little background on how we got here. The California Milk Advisory Board invited 12 chefs from across the country to submit recipes in 3 categories, and our esteemed panel of judges selected the top 2 entries in each category. At stake is over $20,000 in prize money, and of course, the prestige of winning the first ever CalMex Invitational event. The 3 champions will be awarded $5,000 each, and each runner-up will get $1,500. And today we're broadcasting 3 separate head-to-head events in categories covering 3 key food service day parts: appetizers, entrees, and dessert. As I mentioned, we're coming to you live from the fabulous Heston Kitchens here at CIA Copia facility in Napa. And we're kicking off with the appetizer category. I see our 2 chefs behind us are busy preparing their dishes. And after making their dishes, they'll present each appetizer to the judges for evaluation. We'll then announce the winner and award prize money for this category. But before we meet our first 2 contestants in that CalMex category, I'd like to introduce you to Bob Carroll, Vice President of Business Development for the California Milk Advisory Board. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Leslie. How are you?
I'm good. Are you excited for today?
I'm very excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of good smells and a lot of good sounds coming from these kitchens.
There's no place I'd rather be this morning.
All right, tell us a little bit about the mission of CMAB and how it supports California's dairy farmers. First, I got to give you a mic to do that.
Sure. So our mission is very simple. It's to increase demand for all dairy products that use real California milk and carry the real California seal. And how we support our dairy farmers is really around marketing, business development, and helping to tell stories. I think a lot of good marketing is really storytelling, which is part of what we're doing today as well.
And how, what was the inspiration and why is it so important to do this CalMex competition today?
So we've seen an emerging trend of this fusion of a very important and growing category for us, which is Hispanic cheeses, Hispanic dairy products, with the wonderful fresh ingredients of California being such a wonderful state for produce and an amazing array of great food. And we really want to support and help accelerate and highlight this wonderful trend.
And also talk about the importance of food service to the CMAB.
Yeah, so food service is almost 1/3 of the total dairy volume from California, the leading dairy state in the country. So an awful lot of our volume is centered around food service, and as I mentioned, with Hispanic products growing so quickly, this is a really important area for us and one we want to really promote.
And what do you gain by sponsoring events like this?
Well, I mean, again, it's a little bit more of the storytelling. Anytime that we can highlight the wonderful cheeses that our processors make here in California from the incredible milk, it's a win for us. And again, with this being a growing area, we hope that over time there'll be both volume increases and consumers will see that this is something they need to go try.
All right, well, we are ready to get started, and you're ready to get started, right? Okay.
Thanks, Leslie.
And I know our chefs and judges can't wait. we're going to start appropriately with the appetizer category. And here our chefs were asked to focus on creating innovative dairy-centric dishes that make a strong first impression for diners. Our two finalists in the appetizer category, which we'll meet shortly, are Chad Clevenger of Atlanta, Georgia, and Victoria Elizondo of Houston, Texas. And we're first going to hear from Chad with his La Menonita and El Molcajete. So we're going to head over to Chad right now. And Chad is a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts. He's the owner of a pop-up restaurant El Nido del Bujo in Atlanta, and formerly of Alma Cocina in Atlanta and restaurants in Denver. Hi, Chad.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Grab your microphone.
Thank you.
Are you excited about today?
I am.
All right. I smell wonderful things. Tell us a little bit about what excited you of this competition, the CalMex competition.
I think just the opportunity to work with great products from California and the Milk Board, and then to compete against the other great chefs here. It's an exciting opportunity to do so.
And what are you cooking for us today? Tell us a little bit. Don't give away too much, but tell us a little bit.
I'm basically making a fried Menonita cheese with a little salsa verde and some tortillas as an appetizer.
Okay. And what was the inspiration behind creating this dish?
It's all about the cheese. So I wanted something that's cheesy, gooey, has some textures, has some spice to it, and it's creative all at the same time.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to let you get back to the dish. I'm going to grab the mic. And Cameron, can you do me a favor and just grab my other cards on the table, because I want to introduce you to our next chef, Victoria Elizondo. And Victoria is preparing, look at what you're preparing. Isn't that beautiful today? Thank you very much. All right, Victoria, you are, let me give you that. Let me tell you a little bit about Victoria. She is going to make an appetizer, Tres Quesos Potosinas, and you are the owner of the restaurant Cochinita in Houston, Cochinita & Co. in Houston, and you have a line of packaged products, which we're going to hear a little bit about, and the author of a new book just coming out called Taco-tastic. Well, welcome, Victoria.
Thank you for having me
Thank
here.
you. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your dish and what you're making for the judges today.
So I'm very happy to be making enchiladas potosinas, because this is a dish that I grew up, that my grandma would make for us, and then my mom started making for me. But the thing is that I'm putting my spin on it. Instead of just using queso fresco, we're adding queso requesón as well as cotija. We're making a green salsa that is made with requesón and cotija salsa, cheese as well. So there's going to be a lot of cheese, and I'm very happy to be representing the large amount of Hispanic cheeses that I made here in California. And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. All right. And what do you think the importance of these cheeses are to the future of California dairy and cooking with California cheeses?
I think it's important to represent the Hispanic cheeses that are made here in California, like queso fresco, cotija, añejo, asado, menonita, because we, as immigrants or Mexican Americans, even second generation, we represent a big part of this country. So I think it's important to represent these cheeses, especially.
And a quick note about those products that you've got coming up.
Okay, so I have a line of packaged products. We make tamales, totopos, salsas, aguas frescas, and trail mix.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you get back. We're going to introduce our judges, and I'm going to let you get back cooking. All right, everybody, follow me as we get to meet the lucky judges who will be eating all of this terrific fare. And our first judge. Hello, judges. How are you? Hi, how's it going? Good. It's a race here, isn't it, to get this all done? All right. So I'd like to introduce our judging panel. Tremendous amount of talent sitting right here in front of me. First, here on my left is Claudette Zepeda, who achieved national acclaim as executive chef of El Jardín in San Diego. She currently oversees the creative vision for Vaga Restaurant in Encinitas, and she also competed on Top Chef Mexico, and Netflix Iron Chef Quest for an Iron Legend, which I think you won.
I won. Absolutely. I'm going to take that one.
You won that one. All right. So we've got to give you a round of applause for that. So yes, that's okay. We can do that. A round of applause.
Thank you.
As a longtime San Diegan and true advocate for really California dairy products, what are you going to be looking for from the chefs in their use of cheese in the dishes?
the right recipe with the right cheese consistency. Make sure that if it's supposed to melt, it melts. The salinity, the balance. Lots of different things that I'm going to look for, but definitely to be able to taste the cheese. That's priority.
That's the thing. And which of the three categories, appetizers, entrees, or desserts, are you most excited? You can say all three.
As a reformed pastry chef, I'm going to say pastry because I am a firm believer that pastry first is not a bad option. But I am really interested to see the entrees.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you were going to be a contestant in this, which one of the categories would you have gone for?
It would be a toss-up between pastry and entree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm excited.
I'm excited to hear what you think of each of those.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to hand the microphone down now. Okay, we've got our next judge. The rose among the thorns, right? Hey. There we go. Our next CalMex Invitational judge is Ben Diaz, and he is another Californian. Ben served as the executive chef at some of Southern California's best hotels and restaurants, and he's also an author and currently oversees the culinary offerings at Leoness Cellars and is the Chief Culinary Officer at CBD Cuisine Consulting, which I want to hear a little bit more about.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
That'll be for afterwards.
That's after the competition is over, judging is done. That's right. Now, tell us a little bit, Ben, about your background and how important California cheeses are to what you have been doing.
Well, I grew up with a lot of cheese, especially a lot of Hispanic-inspired cheeses. So for me, it would be looking at how the contestants use that product, in a specific way. Is it true to its form? Are they actually taking it and presenting it in a traditional but yet modern way? For me, it's super exciting. I think I'm more nervous than the contestants themselves.
I don't know, they're sweating back there. I think so.
I know, we're just, yeah, exactly. We're hovering around, looking around like, oh, that looks good, that looks good,
Is it giving you, looking at these dishes, is it giving you inspiration as chefs maybe to
eat?
Yeah.
But yes, definitely.
Well, for me being an avid, long-time competitor, just as Claudette, it's very, I get the nerve shakes for them. I'm like, oh my God, you have time, don't worry about this. So it's super exciting being on this side of the table as opposed to that side. But I like how everyone's being very helpful to each other and they're kind of like leaning. And this is what it's all about. It's having a great time, introducing some amazing product, and then just having a good time with your teammates.
A real sense of camaraderie.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm going to get to our final judge. The beautiful Barbara Alexander.
Thank you.
Hello, Barbara.
Hi.
She has worked as a professional chef for more than 30 years. She ran Michelin-level restaurants around the world before becoming a culinary educator, and she now works here as an instructor at the CIA. So we are thrilled to have you, Barbara.
I'm excited to be here.
And so speak to us from the educator standpoint. I know you're excited to be part of this first invitational. How important do you think CalMex cheeses are right now as well as to the future of this category?
Well, it's kind of interesting because right about the time I started teaching, I moved here to California and was introduced to Hispanic cheeses. And I think it was something new to me, so I really understand it from a sort of a novel approach of looking at how we can use these cheeses. I think for a lot of people that are raised in California, we're familiar with the taste and the flavor of Hispanic cheeses, but how to use them becomes kind of an interesting approach for most chefs. I think from an educational standpoint, the more that we use Hispanic cheeses in modern, innovative recipes, the more Hispanic cheeses get out there in the marketplace, which of course is great for CMAB. And I'm thrilled to work for CMAB. The products are fantastic. So it's one thing to be selling a product that is mediocre, but with the California cheeses, you're selling a top-notch product, a premium product, and how to use those becomes super important.
Well, I'd like to hand the microphone back to Claudette, or Ben, maybe we can stop there as long as you got it. You were both shaking your head when Barbara was saying, it's really important to get these cheeses in front of the public obviously through restaurants and make this category more well-known, right?
Absolutely. For me, I use these on a daily basis at home, and I introduce a lot of stuff to the restaurant as well. It's just same thing. You love something so much, you want to introduce other people to it. You want people to kind of understand where you're coming from, and it's food. we all know each other and connect each other through food, and that's what it is. Food is love, food is connection. It doesn't matter where you come from. You sit down with someone, you enjoy a great plate of food, you automatically connect with them on, on a personal level, on a different type of level. And I think, again, with the California cheese and then what we're doing right now with Hispanic cheeses, it's really bringing to light, all these fantastic, amazing, phenomenal cheeses that normally, us Hispanics love, but not everybody else understands or quite, figures out, hey, what you do with this kind of product.
Well, what are the challenges, and maybe Claudette can answer this, what are the challenges of bringing these cheeses to light, making the public aware of them, making chefs aware of them, that they're available to use in dishes? Are there challenges right now?
I don't think it's so much as a challenge, more of an educational component, that Hispanic style cheeses aren't just garnishes, that you actually can incorporate them into recipes and different textures, different salinity levels, and they all can help elevate. And we always talk about a specific region of cheeses, but we're in California, where the Hispanic population is huge. This is what we eat every day. So not just on the use, but the inclusion and having other Hispanic young cooks see that this is being highlighted, it's inspirational. We don't see us in our industry as much as we need to. Right. So not only is this an opportunity to cook with beautiful ingredients, but it also is an opportunity for young cooks to see themselves and to cook our food.
Well, and talk a little bit about the cheeses that some of the chefs are using today, in terms of flavor profile and style and things like that you're looking for.
One of my favorites that I was really pleasantly surprised with is the Menonita. I grew up eating Mennonite style cheese in Guadalajara. I've had it all the way down to Belize with the actual Mennonite selling it on the side of the road. And it is a beautiful melting cheese. It has acidity, it has salinity, but the melting component that everyone loves about Mexican street
the
food,
gooiness
and it's impressive, and seeing that, you don't see it often. You see everyone flex with the queso fresco, cotija, but actually having Mennonite style cheese in a dish, it's beautiful to see. So that's what I'm most excited about, is the gooiness.
And we've got quite a few chefs choosing to use that cheese. Yeah. And Ben, what about you?
I mean, kind of to echo what Claudette said, but for me, it would be like the Oaxaca cheese. I love that so much. It's super stringy. As a matter of fact, I think we had some of that for breakfast today with our coffee. So coffee and Oaxaca cheese, you can't beat that, right? It's very versatile. Again, it's super stringy. You can melt it, you can grill it, you can fry it, you can do so much stuff with it. It's so versatile. And the flavor, it's really nice, smooth and delicate, but it also blossoms, especially when you apply different cooking methods to it. And for me, that's very exciting to see what these chefs do with that.
And you can start. And Barbara, do you have any thoughts on some of the cheeses?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm the one chef who hasn't seen the recipes today.
Okay. So you're coming in blind to this one.
Yeah. In some ways, I'm a little behind them, but in some ways, it gives me really a carte blanche approach to testing the recipes with absolutely no idea of what they're using. So I'm quite excited about that. I think it might have been intentional, but it is now. So I think I'm really excited. I can see them using a wide variety of cheeses. What I get really excited about is when they use more than one cheese in a recipe. So when there's a multi-leveled flavor component to it. So I'm excited about all of it.
You're excited about it. And Ben, give us a little bit of your background. I mentioned a few things that were key.
So for me, so my background, it's obviously I'm Hispanic, I'm Latino. My family comes from Guadalajara, Mexico, also from Quetzaltenango, Guatemala.
Tequila!
So I bring some of that Central American, a little bit more kind of style flavor approach. For me, it's when I use some of this stuff, I use it very rustically, but at the same time, now at the restaurants, I try to bring it more forward, more like practical. And again, I try not to mask my cheese. I see a lot of people who don't understand Hispanic style cheeses kind of masking with different cooking methods. Again, it's all great, but for me, I like to highlight the raw product of it. Let me go back to the Oaxaca cheese. Maybe make a nice marinade. It's something that you would do like with a burrata cheese, but do it with Oaxaca. You'll get that super sensational creamy texture off of it. It's really stringy, but at the same time, it has a nice little give to it. So it's one of those practical things where we're stepping outside the box to what you normally know and just kind of evolve that whole texture.
Right. And give us a little more background of you, Claudette, because you've got quite the impressive resume that I was reading. And
so I am a border kid. I was raised in raised in Tijuana, Guadalajara, and born in San Diego. And my culinary upbringing is spending from sun up to sundown in my aunt's restaurant in Guadalajara. She had a senaduría making pozole, and that was the best school of hard knocks, so to speak. But it taught me how important matriarchs are to our culture, and that inspired me. Started as a pastry chef for 8 years, then I went to savory, and in 2015 I joined a restaurant in San Diego with Javier Plasencia as my mentor, and we opened my first Mexican restaurant. So from 2015 on, I've leaned in hard on our culture, and not only on our culture as Mexicans, but as all the other thousands of cultures that have lended their hands in our cuisine, which you see Mennonites, which you see a lot of Dutch cheeses, you see a lot of German cheese. All these things make Mexico beautiful. Right. So for me, I've run the gamut of line cook. I've cooked 22 years professionally. I'm a single mother of a 19 and a 17-year-old, which are
You are not a mother of a 19-year-old.
It's the oxygen in the furnace.
I was going to say the cheeses are treating you well.
Good genetics, and I started competitive cooking in 2016. Top Chef was again another baptism of fire, and I can say that it is really inspirational to do what I do and see how many young Hispanic kids see me as, oh, I see myself in you, and get motivated to follow our path and understand our food more.
That's an amazing last word here before the chefs are bringing in their dishes. I see some, again, the smell in here is intoxicating. All right, Chad, come on in, Chef Chad. And let's, do we have Victoria? I'll let you present the dish to the judges. You want this?
Sure. How we doing? So I have the queso menonita. So I dusted it in maseca, put it in egg wash, tortilla crumb crust, and then it's salsa verde, gets fried, put in the molcajete, some more cilantro and onions, and then fresh tortillas. So how I suggest to eat it is you take a spoon and whack off some of the cheese and put it in a tortilla, and you get a little bit of the crunch, the gooiness, and the salsa.
Fantastic. Like the best facial.
Oh yeah. It's a salsa verde steam bath.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
All right, are you guys going to start separating that and digging in? All right. It looks like it's bubbling and moving, and I see. Oh, hang on. We've got Chef Victoria as well. All right. There we go. I'm going to give you that microphone to talk about the dish.
Okay, so I made for you today enchiladas potosinas. This is my grandma's recipe, but I put my own twist on it. It's usually made with corn masa, and it's made with the puree of dried chiles that are dehydrated. And we use guajillo and chile de árbol. The stuffing has queso requesón, queso cotija, and queso fresco, as well as chopped tomatillos, jalapenos, and onion. And on top, I made an avocado crema and a salsa de molcajete verde. Enjoy. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, before you dig in, I just want to get some first impressions of the look of the dishes.
They're beautiful. I'm getting this like straightforward spa facial experience.
It is warm. It is steaming.
It's wafting. No, they're beautiful. I think for me, I love food that makes you want to eat it before you actually eat it. Like that, like visual appeal. It's sexy.
I'm letting it cool down. I'm asking a few questions to let it cool down so that you can actually dig in.
Aesthetically, it's very beautiful. Presentations are great. One of the things that I like about it, it's plated very nicely, but also has some of those rustic tones. Nothing's overly flared out, but it gives you the whole look of just freshness.
It looks beautiful. All right, now it's cooled down enough. I think, Barbara, you want to give us your quick impression?
Well, it looks very authentic. I love the use of the molcajete. It's wonderful. They both look great. We can't wait to try them.
Okay, dig in. We'll come back and check in with you. And while we're doing that, I would like to sort of get a little consumer impression, a little regular people, well, not really regular people impression. We're going to taste a few of the dishes while the judges are doing it themselves. So joining me is Jennifer Jambroni, Vice President of Communications for CMAB, as well as Katie Cameron. Hello. And you are food service business development, also for the CMAB. And we've got Chad's beautiful dish, La Menonita and El Molcajete. All right. So
Looks
again,
gorgeous.
steaming and beautiful. A little bit of that Mennonite cheese, as Claudette was telling us, Chef Claudette. And then we also have Victoria's Tres Quesos Potosinas. All right, so get in there, dig in.
Dig in, Katie. Yes,
I'll move out of
please.
the way here.
You know, I mean, first of all, I have to say, I mean, both of these dishes are gorgeous and really are that expression of Cal-Mex. It's like you've got these gorgeous colors and fresh vegetables, really interesting presentations as well. That just looks.
Now hold that there. Hang on.
Look at
because
that.
You have to when
Yeah.
you cut and look at that. It is steaming. It is beautiful.
That's
It
a
is
California
big-
Menonita cheese. Yes, creamy, delicious.
Smell the salsa verde and the fresh cilantro, and it's like a giant cheese stick.
It is like, yeah, it is an
a giant
updated
fried cheese
mozzarella cheese stick coated in like tortilla chips.
Right?
What do you think?
It's hot. It's hot.
It's delicious.
We'll give you a napkin so that you can actually comment on that.
And you gotta love just like the presentation in the bowl there too. And made in Molcajete, I love that. I mean, that's just I would love to see that on the menu for
Right?
sure. Yeah.
I think a big hunk of gooey cheese always does well on the
Crunchy
menu.
coated cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
you can never go wrong for
Right,
sure.
right.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about, we mentioned it with Bob, about food service, the importance of food service to the CMAB.
Well, I mean, food service again is a third of the business for our California dairy products that are made with milk from our dairy farm families. We have 1,100 family dairy farms in California, and so they're producing a lot of milk. They go into these wonderful cheeses, and cheese is the majority of where our milk goes. And of course, we make these amazing Hispanic-style cheeses and cremas, and you know, it's part of our tradition in California. So we love to be able to showcase them in something like this big piece of gorgeous cheese, encrusted, melty, and delicious. And then, you know, I just have to say, this over here, this is what is the name of the dish again?
It is Tres Quesos Potosinas.
Potosinas.
So Tres Quesos, this is really important. She's got three cheeses in here, three California Cal-Mex cheeses.
We've got, I think there's a queso fresco in here.
Requesón.
Requesón, which I love. I mean, that's just like that creamy, almost ricotta-like cheese. It's so delicious. And I think there's actually crema and cotija added afterwards. So really, it's 5 dairy products, which, you know, is never going to be wrong in my book. But they look like almost like little empanadas, but crunchy with the corn on the outside. I think you need to dig into these.
I know. I'm looking at digging into them. I am going to dig into them a little bit later because it's a little hard to talk and eat and crunch.
Well, I don't think anybody wants us talking while we eat, right?
We're saving these for later. We're letting Katie be our.
I recommend a smaller bite if you're going to sample next.
Eating for a living on camera, I know how difficult this can be. So
yeah, I think this is a handheld.
I think
this
you
is
just
real
pick it up
handheld.
and
Yeah, I think you need to go in there. Let's see.
Yeah,
it looks crunchy. You've got that 3 cheese filling in there.
and again, I think these on menus would be something that consumers would love.
100%. I mean, if people really understand an empanada, this is just a different expression of that. And then, of course, the 3 cheeses, you have that lime crema on the top, you know, that adds that little creaminess.
And let's take a peek inside.
Oh,
let's see if you can grab
see
the
that?
inside of that with the shot, Gavin. Look at that.
You gotta love
really
that.
Beautiful. Little pockets of love, of cheese
Oh,
love.
I love it. Pockets of love. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? I mean,
It's delicious. You can really taste the California in this.
I love it. I love it. It's a little bite of California, right? In a little pocket. I mean, talk about
perfect.
Yeah, 2 dishes that express Cal-Mex right there. I mean, this is the innovation that's happening in this space. I mean, we love Mexican food and Mexican flavors, and you know, really bringing the California with the freshness of the produce, and of course, I mean, the California cheese because that's who we are. But I mean, this is an exciting way to kick off this invitational.
And again, I asked that question of Bob, you know, kind of the inspiration for this Cal-Mex Invitational was to shine a light on these cheeses, right?
On the cheeses and the category itself. I mean, everyone's heard of Tex-Mex, but Cal-Mex really is a different category, and it's a beautiful way of expressing that. Just right here, this is what it looks like.
Right. And what about from your perspective in business development? What do you see the future of this category?
Sure. Well, I just think there's tremendous growth here. There's so much versatility with these cheeses and the dairy, and there's so much to talk about. I think beyond even just Hispanic dishes for these types of cheeses, but these dishes right here just do a great job illustrating where we envision CalMex, and I think allowing these chefs to really bring the creativity forward.
Right.
So,
and giving them a platform. This is giving the chefs a platform to do that. Right?
That's
and
correct.
how did you decide on breaking it down by appetizers and entrees and desserts? You know, like having a full meal here?
Well, and everything that we love to eat as well. You know we love small bites and small plates. So, you know, and that expression on menus is really beyond just, you know, a tapas restaurant. You know, it's like everyone wants like a little small shareable bite. And then, of course, the entree, you know, and that's more than just the plat du jour of, you know, what we think of as a meal at a restaurant. And then, of course, desserts. Like, we want something sweet. And you know, you don't see...
And these cheeses lend themselves to that, don't they?
They really, really do. They are very mild, and so you can add, they really adopt the flavors that you add, and there's so many ways of expressing, you know, in dishes. Anything to add there?
I can't wait to taste the desserts.
I know.
Well, we've got a busy day with entrees, with dessert coming up. Let me check in on the judges. How are we doing with the judging? One more minute. The anticipation is really...
I know. You know, it's really hard. I mean, the judges have a really hard task because, again, this is an invitational. So we go out to a number of chefs, and the recipes that were entered were amazing. It was hard just to narrow down.
Well, I was going to say, you invited 12 chefs, really, but then you had to narrow down those chefs to just 2 per category.
Yeah, and that was hard because, like, first of all, they're all chefs we want to work with. You know, they're making innovative dishes. We love what they're doing. We want to see their expression of CalMex on a plate. And so the dishes that were entered, it was like, you know, can we add another category? Maybe, you know, maybe a little,
because it
you
was
know.
too good of,
Exactly,
you know, the recipes were
exactly.
so good.
Just so much, so many good opportunities and ideas. And so narrowing that down, and then again, you know, you can read through a recipe, but really it takes the chef's, you know,
but you
special.
Can't smell
yeah,
it.
you can't smell it.
See it. You can't. Right.
And the presentation. I mean, this is truly beautiful. This is like a Michelin star dish right here. You know, and I do think that sometimes, you know, with Mexican food or flavors, oftentimes it gets put into a specific category, but we know that it's expressed in so many different ways from so many different regions. So really, as it comes,
regional, and Chef Claudette was talking about this in terms of so many different influences in Mexican cuisine from all over the world, right?
Yeah, and so if you interpret that into CalMex, that could mean anything. You know, it's just kind of, we add the little California, again, the taste of California, and the freshness, and it's all of those different flavors, and it's all of those different regions of Mexico, and the imagination of the chef, which fundamentally is the most important ingredient. You know, this is why chefs are so inspiring.
And I think they took the inspiration. Chef Victoria was telling us, you know, took the inspiration from family for this, and from regionality for this dish.
Absolutely. Well, and we had this discussion last night actually about that flavor memory. You know, it's like when you take a bite of a certain dish and where it takes you, and takes you back.
That's right.
So these dishes probably do that, but they also take you forward because they're really modern interpretations of some traditional dishes and pulling those flavors together, and hopefully we're giving them an opportunity to expand the reach of these recipes to more consumers.
Right. Well, I think I'm getting a signal that I think we're ready to head back to the judges. I think they've made their decision. I want to hear a little bit more about what they're doing, and what they've tasted. So thank you for being here. We'll see you for the entree and then the dessert discussion as well. So I'm going to head back to the judges and get their thoughts on these dishes. Thank you, ladies. All right, judges. Woo! I think you've made your decision. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
There's
well,
a consensus.
Before we announce the winner of this category, I'd just like to get some overriding thoughts that you had about these dishes.
First, by opinion, I'm a textural eater. Both of them were really great on the textural component of it. And you melt cheese, and I mean, it's like bacon. Melted cheese is always good. But
Always
the
good.
Textures on both dishes, I think, were really beautiful.
You like to hear that, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, that's the chefs.
So both of them did a phenomenal job incorporating the cheese and keeping it true to its nature and just highlighting the product, which was phenomenal. I was afraid it was gonna get lost in the mix somewhere. For me, the tones were really good. The flavor profiles were spot on a couple of little notes here. And overall, it kind of gave me a little happiness inside as I was eating it, so that's always good.
I always think it's great to be the first chefs up because we're hungry. But you know, I thought they were great. I love the acidity level on the first dish in the molcajete. The acidity level was great. I love the colorful brightness of your dish. It was really pretty as well. So both of them were super visually appealing, which is always great. And both of them definitely met the mark on the flavors. Both were excellent.
Fantastic. All right. I think I'd like to bring back Bob, the big money guy. All right.
Very
Bob
efficient.
Carroll of the CMAB is going to announce the winner of this. I'm going to stand back here.
So on behalf of the California Milk Advisory Board and the California Dairy Families, I'm pleased to announce the winner of the appetizer category of the 2022 CalMex Invitational. Congratulations to Chad Clevenger. And Chad, here's your winning check for $5,000. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Let me thank, congratulations, Chad, and Chef Victoria as well. Just a few more thoughts before I grab both of you to come back over and chat with me a little bit on the winning dish. A little bit more specific, why it won. We know they were both great.
They were both great. So apart from texture, acidity, balance, your tomatillo salsa was beautifully balanced. The right texture with the tortilla chip and the maseca on the cheese. The sense of comfort that it has, I would have loved to see a little bit more use of different cheeses, but the balance of that salsa really brought it home to me. My family is famous for their enchiladas suizas, so a little bit of cream on that salsa and it would have been there. So. Yeah.
Chad, great job. The dish was good. For me, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's kind of simplistic here and there. But again, sometimes simple is better. So you did have a lot of great points. You know, texture-wise was great. Acidity, the comparison, somehow your tortilla was a little sweet, which kind of balanced some of that stuff like that. And then I get a little hit of spiciness from the tomatillo. I'm like, oh, nice. And then the crispy bits. It just had a very good marriage overall. You know, again, would have loved to see a use of more cheese. You know, a different variety, maybe perhaps on top something a different combination. But overall, good job.
You've heard it before. So definitely the use of more California dairy would have been great in a bigger competition with more participants. I think that would really see you through, just adding that, and another California element to really bring it out. But what I absolutely loved was that bubbling molcajete. Like you'd sold me already when I saw that bubbling molcajete. Just wondering what you're doing later tonight. I could eat that whole thing all over again. It was fantastic. Congratulations.
All right. Let's grab that microphone back. And chefs, I'd love for you to join me over here. Oops, we have a microphone. All right. There we go. We'll give you this. Congratulations, everybody here. Please give a round of applause to all of both chefs. Take a seat. I'll take a seat, and I'm just, yeah, you can hold up that check. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. All right. So, how did you both feel about participating in the competition? I've got a microphone. Okay. Go ahead, Victoria.
I'm very, very happy. It's really nice to see organizations take care of chefs like California Men's Happy taking care of us. since we landed on the plane to the competition, it has been an amazing experience, and overall it has been great to represent the Hispanic cheeses.
And we're looking forward to your new book. Tell us about your new book.
My new book is called Taco-tastic. It's available on Amazon, Target, Walmart, and probably on your local bookstore. And it's available for pre-order, and it'll be ready to ship in October 25.
All right, so we're hoping everybody buys that book. Okay.
Thank you.
And Chad, Chef Chad,
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me how you're feeling, right?
Right now I'm a little sweaty, but I'm feeling good, obviously. I won, so that makes me feel good. But, overall an amazing event. It's great to be in wonderful California using wonderful California cheese from California Milk Board. So.
And you think that these cheeses obviously are an inspiration for many dishes, the dish you made. Will you be seeing more and more of these cheeses? Will you be using more and more?
Definitely. I've cooked Mexican food for 15 years, and I love the different textures and saltiness and whatnot, so the different quesos that come around. So, it's awesome. And this event, just exposes all those things. So.
And what will you be doing with the money? Going to Disneyland?
It's actually our 5-year wedding anniversary, so we'll probably, hang out and do some cool things. So
that was a nice win for that.
Awesome. Yes,
all right.
exactly.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Again, a round of applause for both chefs on this. And I'll have to say, we are done with this first category. Congratulations again to them. And we want to thank them on behalf of the Real California Milk and California's dairy families for making all of this possible. It has been an exciting cook-off, and we've discovered 2 innovative appetizer dishes showcasing the best of California ingredients and Mexican cuisines. For more information on both award-winning dishes and to rewatch the broadcast, please visit realcaliforniamilk.com/food-service. We're going to take a short break now, but be sure to tune back in for the entree category, where we'll have 2 talented chefs offering their interpretation of culinary and flavor combinations of California ingredients and Mexican flavors, competing again for that $5,000 prize. The live broadcast will start on this same CMAB Facebook page at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. This is Leslie Sabraco from the CIA Copia Kitchens in Napa, California. On behalf of the California Milk Advisory Board, thank you for watching, and we'll see you shortly. Woo!